Hey, friends. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful to have you here, whether you're joining us live or you're watching the replay. Izzy, look at that cute little face that I haven't seen for a few
Oh my
weeks. It is so
gosh.
good to be back with you.
I could say the same about you, Phil.
It's been a little while, huh?
Yeah, it
I can't
has.
believe I'm admitting that I miss you. We're supposed to be battling at all times, Izzy. I'm not supposed to get all emotional here, sentimental.
I know. Well, I mean, I am sentimental too, so we'll piggyback off each other's feelings today.
We will. It's so fun. So, viewer, if you're hanging out with us today for the first time, this is Collabattle, where Izzy and I go head to head. It gets intense
Mhm.
on all different kinds of themes. Today, we're talking specifically about social media, right? We're going to talk specifically about Instagram Reels. And I want to jump over to my screen where I can share this amazing template that has 20 essential tips to master Reels. Izzy, you get a shout out for putting this together. You and I always swap, right? For our shows. Like, you take the
Mhm.
reins one week, I take the reins the other week, but I love what we've got here. Do you want to talk us through in just a few seconds what our viewer or replay viewer live are going to get their hands on in this remixable template?
Well, essentially, it's some tips to just keep in mind whenever you're doing a reel. And I have to be honest that I was somewhat putting this list together for myself, as I am not necessarily big on the real world. So, so
Don't
those
worry, we'll
tips
get through it
are
together today.
exactly right. Where we're gonna climb that mountain together.
We will.
So yes, it's just some little tips here and there to just, it's some good feedback to have or just to keep in mind whenever you're filming, whenever you're putting it together. And I feel that I have a lot of questions for you, Phil, today, because you
Yeah.
are really good at marketing. And I mean, Reels is definitely a great way to market yourself and be known, which I need to get over that hump of being afraid of making
Well,
some Reels. So, yeah.
listen, you are not alone in this, even though, yes, marketing is a big part of my world, marketing and branding. I also, even as like a very confident content creator, I still hesitate to post a reel. I don't, it's just a different form of content creation for me. I can make long form like YouTube videos with my eyes closed. But when it comes to creating a reel where it's not so much of a production, it's meant to be easy, it's meant to be simple. I am in the boat of also overthinking it. So, Izzy, we're not only going to battle, but we're going to overcome this fear together today with our viewers. So, we're going to switch over to your screen here in a second. Izzy, you usually kick us off to begin designing. And I
Mhm.
can't wait. I still want to win today, by the way, but I can't wait to see what you put together in the next few minutes. And I'll be here to help you, give you some tips along the way, and then we'll switch.
Amazing. So, before we hop into Adobe Express, I just want to show you something quickly. If you are paying for the full suite, the Creative Suite Bridge, Adobe Bridge is something that I absolutely adore because if ever you're making a folder where you're dropping all of your videos, let's say you've been on a trip like I have, we're going to talk about NYC a lot, or let's say you
Love it.
are putting together a folder with all the photos that you maybe had taken for a marketing campaign or product or something like that, you can basically browse through that folder within Bridge. So here I have all my videos, and see, even when I hover, I can see a little bit of what that video is all about. So it's giving me a good idea of that preview. Oh my gosh, look at that flyaway right here. This is
I
why I
love
don't
it.
like videos. But and what I like too, if you at the bottom, you can also make them smaller or bigger. And what I also like is that you can rate your videos. So if I go down here, this is a photo, but I can click on the star system. So this would basically say, I love this photo, or maybe I'm giving it a 2 star, which is not my favorite. So this is a way to just look at everything, because sometimes, specifically on a PC, you won't necessarily see a small preview when you're looking at your files and an icon. And this is a good way to see everything a little bigger to make a better selection.
I
Now,
love
going,
this. By the way, I've only ever opened Bridge, Izzy, by accident. I've opened it and gone, oops, that's not Illustrator. That's not Photoshop. I've only ever opened it by accident. So I am also learning from you today. This is
there you
awesome.
go.
Also,
And
how
it,
cool is the rating system? Because if you think about it, like on
yes,
an
let me go
iPhone,
back
for
to it.
example, you might hit the favorite or the heart.
Mm-hmm.
icon. And that's often what I do to make a photo that I want to post or I want to share quickly, accessible. But I love that this takes it a step further if we're trying to decide, okay, maybe we want to give our threes and fours
Mm-hmm.
priority in terms of the star rating to get it posted or to get it incorporated into a reel. Genius.
And if you want here, you have that drop down menu and you can actually also select here by rating. So you can sort by rating. So then all of your top videos will go at the top. And obviously, the one that has the least stars will go at the bottom. It's a very powerful tool. It's also, whenever you're looking at pictures, if I would double click on a picture, it would open in Photoshop. You can also use the control feature and say open with, and then choose the application that you want to open it with. So it's a very powerful tool that I'm glad that we touched on today.
I mean,
Okay.
that's all you, honey. You get all the credit for that. And now I'm going to become the newest Bridge super fan,
There
along with
you go.
Keys, who in the chat says, I love Bridge. I use it more than the built in File Explorer or
Oh,
Finder on any system
wow.
I've worked on. Thanks for sharing that, Keys. Hey, Alessandra. Oh my God, we got everyone in the house today. This is exciting. Okay. I see you're back over on Express, so we're gonna get designing.
Basically, I just made a new file and I made it Instagram Reel format, and I'm going to upload my own media. So as I kind of hinted or planted the seed, I was just in NYC, like I literally just got back last afternoon. You were also away, Phil. We tend to do
I
this to ourselves.
was.
We over over book ourselves when it comes to our
Yes.
calendar.
At least we could have booked it at the same time. I think you were also there for I think it was an Adobe related event. I was also there for some stuff happening on the enterprise side, but we just didn't cross over. We need to
I
next time.
know. I know. I would love to give you a hug in real life.
We will. We will.
We
We're
will.
good Canadians that will eventually meet in real life very soon. You live in Ottawa, which is where my grandparents still live to this day. So yes, I'm due home for a visit, and you're going to be not only going to see them, I'm going to see you.
That would be amazing. And for everyone who's watching, wanting to have the proof that this is going to happen, don't worry. Whenever it happens, we'll make a reel together. How's that?
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm just selecting my videos. I'm selecting a few and uploading them. And it's going to look like a pile of mess because like the length of everything is just not the same and it doesn't have good storytelling. So here, as you can see, I've taken a lot of different stuff for this. This is gorgeous. This was a Met Gala gown from
Look at
2001.
that.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I went to NYC for an event, as you mentioned, but I extended my stay to get replenish on creativity because I literally felt like I was running out on fumes, and there was just a lot of friction in my life,
Hmm.
professional life at that time too. So being able to go to museums and just being a sponge was perfect, like exactly what I needed, and I feel so good now about my creativity. I feel like I can tackle the world, which is the best
That is
feeling.
so important. Let's not brush over that. But I mean, we have so many creative pros, artists, designers that hang out with us here on
Mm-hmm.
Adobe Live. How important is it for us to recognize, not only recognize, but also prioritize the need for our own inspiration and little creative refill of energy? I love that you just called that out. I'd love to hear from our friends in the chat. Is this something that you guys do or prioritize when you're feeling low on inspiration and creativity? What do you do? I'll read out some of the responses while Izzy's designing.
Perfect. So here, I'm basically just making sure that all of my videos are the same length. Now, I don't have music to, make sure that the tempo is correct, but I know that what is this one? It's 3.2 seconds. I know that this is way too long, so I'm just cutting it down to a second. Like so, look at this. I had my cup of joe in the morning.
I love it.
The
How did you
energy.
also how did you also like, did you decide that this was something that you were going to make and then collected it intentionally? I sometimes forget if I'm on a trip or I'm living life, I forget to document all the cool moments. And I feel like you did a really good job of documenting this.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So I have to give a massive shout out to my fiance Mathieu because he was my Insta husband during this whole trip. Um, he did not like it. We actually bickered a little bit about it because I was like, I have to have content for Collabattle. I need to make up this reel because usually on a trip like that where I do want to replenish, I would keep the phone away. I would not like film. I would take photos, but in a sense that it's not necessarily to show off that I was there. It's mostly to collect inspiration. You should see I have photos of labels from all over the world um, whenever I take that kind of trip. But I did this intentionally knowing, but I also noticed that I have to switch my brain to thinking more like this and maybe finding the right balance in filming and replenishing on creativity because this is where the world is going now. Everything is
Yeah.
video. So
Everything
definitely
is video. Everything is video
yes.
and everything is short form video. This is what I
Hmm.
have to remember. I mean, I put a lot of energy. Actually, Unmesh was just talking about this on his amazing spotlight that just wrapped a few minutes ago. Highly recommend rewatching that. He's such a fascinating guy. But we were talking, or he was talking about the value of like long form content. It's that, like, for example, a YouTube video, huge focus of mine and my content creation, it can live
Hmm.
for years. It
Hmm.
can live for years. Whereas what we're working today is an Instagram reel. The number one advantage of creating content in this format is to get in front of new faces, new eyeballs quickly on platforms like Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. Still to this day, and it's been this way for a few years, this is the fastest way to create content that will most likely be consumed by someone who's not already following you if it hits.
That is really good to know because specifically if your goal is to broaden your audience or just reach new followers, which is a goal of mine right now. So that's why I need to get over that hump and that fear of not posting. Um, I actually don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's from, I don't know, like the fear of getting comments or something like that. But whenever I do post, I only get good comments. So that's why I'm like, what is like I'm in my own way right now and I need
Yeah.
to get proactive about this.
It's just a new form of content creation. I think it can feel vulnerable. There's something that's even more vulnerable about sharing a video than sharing a photo. I don't know. That's my big hypothesis. I'm loving, by the way, while you're designing here and putting your clips together, Izzy, I'm loving some of the shares from our chat on how they stay inspired.
Mm.
Keith says he goes on a walk. Cassandra says, love the pics. Megan Gibson, one of my clients and friends, said 100%. I do artist dates at least twice a month
Ooh.
exactly to fight creative burnout and refill my creativity cup of inspiration. Or, in the words of Izzy, creativity cup of Joe. I'm stealing that
Yes.
from you.
It's crazy. I don't usually say that, but I said it for the live today.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Oh, this
There
looks
you
good.
go.
Okay. So, what are you doing here?
I'm just adding a few more just because I want to capture the whole essence of my trip. And if I, just want to add a few more things in here.
This
This
is
was
kind of
a
like a montage type, piece of content. So you'll be in
correct.
some of the clips. Some of the clips are more like artistic, kind of you just capturing, documenting those moments of inspiration, right?
Hmm. Yes. So actually, let me do a playback so we can see where it's at. So maybe we can balance the content a little bit. So there is sound and maybe Phil, do you know how to remove sound from video on Adobe Express? Because I searched and
Yeah.
you do. Okay, because I
There
did
is
not find
also,
it.
we may not have shared our sound. That may have worked to our advantage, Izzy. So go ahead and click play and we'll
Okay,
let you know if we hear
let's do
it. But
this.
if we don't in this case, we'll call out, friends, we'll call out where you can add music and narration. We may not actually do it in this
Perfect.
live since you're actually listening to us. Yeah, this looks good. Now I don't hear sound, Izzy.
I do.
So
That's all the noise from New York City in here, but
got
that's
it.
okay.
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 Got it. So you might, I believe if you click on, let me open up one that I'm going to get started here. But if it's, here we go. So if you show your timeline, go ahead and click show layer timeline right there at the bottom. That should show our audio track down below the
There's like, oh,
clips or
edit
edit
timeline.
timeline. Some of this, by the way, changed recently in Express, so we'll just navigate this together. But if you still hear it, Izzy, then what you could do is drag an audio track over top, and that will replace the sound.
Okay, I did that earlier
Gotta
and
love
it
us.
did not replace the
Gotta love us
sound.
just troubleshooting this on the go.
There you go.
Welcome to my everyday.
Okay,
But this is looking
so
good.
I'll just do city since New York is definitely a big city. So let's see
Good
what we
call.
have as. Oh, actually, we will be back in 10 seconds so you get to hear the audio. We'll be right back.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you for your patience. We were just testing out a few little things, deciding should we share audio or should we not? I'll explain, friends, that if you have audio that you want to mute, you can do so by making the audio track visible, clicking the three dots and muting the track. But we realize this is kind of a montage and it's going to take a whole lot of time to do this individually on each clip. So I think we're going to go without audio. But Izzy, why don't we actually point out where our friends that are working on a reel in Express can add audio, either music or narration?
Absolutely. So if you go here to media and you go under audio, you can either do a record voiceover, which we have in a previous Collabattle
We
if you
have.
want to go down memory lane. Or you can also upload your own if you are a music producer or just like to make your own music. That would be so cool. You can upload your own music. Or if you want to search like what I'm doing, you can have some keywords. And here I'm typing city and I have big city here that I'd love to play. Again, we won't hear it, but I will make sure to post this reel on my Instagram right after. So go to my
Good call.
profile and every one of you can watch it. So,
Cody Bear also gave us a little tactic that I want to call out. He mentioned in the chat, click on the actual player to highlight the clip, and then you can select lower the volume slider to 0%. In this case, again, Izzy, because you've got so many individual clips, I feel like we would use all of our time just muting those tracks. So our viewers just going to use their imagination. But yeah, that's
there you go.
basically how you would do it. Thank you, Cody Bear. We can always count on you.
Thank you, Cody Bear. All right, so I'm going to play the whole thing just to have like a general sense, and then I'll show you how to mix and match and maybe even replace videos, just again to make sure that we have a well-balanced video. So I'm gonna hear sound. So if ever you talk over, Phil, I won't hear you for that
No worries.
duration. Okay.
Looks so good.
Okay. So I
Love
did
it.
notice a few things here. First of all, I'm repeating a video twice. I'm going to delete this. And because I have shortened the video without necessarily knowing where I was, which frame I was cutting off, some stuff feels a little off. Like I'm thinking about this one here. So if I actually see here this full video, I actually am zooming in like so. So
Mm-hmm.
I will be cutting in at the beginning instead, like so. So this is the fine tuning, I'd say. So if we watch it again, that makes more sense to me because it's moving more and it's not staying on one frame for a long time.
I love
Um,
hearing your artistry at work. It's kind of like your curation, how you make these decisions, right? It's a
yes,
lot like graphic design. It's not a perfect science, but it really is just kind of you follow your gut, right? Until you feel like the pace is right, a nice variety of shots.
absolutely. So I actually have removed a video because to me the angle was weird. I will add, maybe I'll add it again to see if I can cut it in a different place. Okay, so this video makes me smile every time I see it because this was at the Moving Image Museum. And this station, you could make your own stop motion. There was a camera on top, and you could frame, like you would place the um, objects it would give you, and then you could press to take a picture, and then you would play it back. And I barely had anything, so I made my character puke.
Oh my Lord.
Like,
You'll
because I
never
had,
forget that.
I'll never forget that. And it's, I mean, maybe I can. It's you
Well,
can
yeah,
kind of
now you have
see
to
it
show us.
here.
You can't just
Like,
tell
look
us
at
that. You're
this.
gonna have to show
Okay,
us.
hold on. And then it's stinky. Yeah. So that
That's
was
so fun.
so. Oh my goodness, that's a taste of my mind. I don't always show this side of me on Adobe Live, but there you go. It's no longer a secret. You heard it first, Phil.
I heard it first, along with my friends that are
Yeah.
watching. This is why you guys hang out with us on Adobe Live. You learn all new kinds of things, especially about Izzy.
Oh my goodness.
This looks great, though. Again, I'm so impressed that you did a few things. You documented your trip, right? If you're creating content, a good reminder is start your idea sooner. How many of us are guilty of going, oh, I don't have an Instagram post for tomorrow. I better start today.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you had just decided 1 week before that to go, next week, I'm going to post a reel that highlights my trip to New York. Just by setting that intention, then you can collect the content that you need and ideally make content creation easy for yourself, which I'll touch on when we make my reel.
Okay, so let me play this back. So essentially, I try to not have my face necessarily in every shot, but just as a quick reminder. So here you can see when I'm drinking this iced coffee, when I'm making the video here, and then at the end when it's panning to the city, because I want to have some sort of storytelling. And here too, I could easily see a voiceover going, come with me to NYC to get inspired if you're creative, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, and this here I forgot because I actually want to see the metro. There you go.
How
So it
perfect
would
that you
be.
can add that voiceover directly in Express. As you already pointed out, Izzy, we
Mm-hmm.
would click media, Then we would go to audio, and there's that button up in the top left that you can see where you can add a voiceover. The beauty of editing video content in Express is that it's not complicated, right? So even if you're not comfortable with creating reels, you're not comfortable with editing, complicated or complex video projects with lots of tracks, you don't have to worry about that in Express. It's meant to be simple because ideally, friends, content creation is simple. Every post doesn't need to be a blockbuster
Mhm.
movie. It's got to be something simple so that you can show up frequently.
And you know what? This, like, usually I think this is why I get afraid of doing content because I'm always thinking about, okay, it needs to have value, it needs to have this. For this, I'm only having fun, and I can see myself sending this to my friends and my family, just be like, hey, this is a highlight reel from my trip. Um, and let's go for coffee and talk about it, type thing. Um,
I love that idea. It's motivated by you and your inspiration is something that
mhm.
brings you joy, including um the vomiting character, right? Or do we give him a
Oh my
name?
goodness, yes.
Yeah, do we give him a name?
Uh,
But also,
can I play
Izzy,
back? Oh, sorry.
yeah, play it. No, play back, play back, play back.
Okay.
I love it. And for our viewer that's watching the replay here, as we mentioned, you could add music, voiceover, and Express. You could also bring it over without audio into Instagram if you wanted to do something like add trending audio, which you would add directly in Instagram. Lots of options. Lots of
So this,
options. That looks so good.
thank you. So I feel like this is pretty final for me. So the next thing that I would like to do, just to make sure I have everything that is ready to go. So I would not necessarily post this directly from Express just because I want to be able to add my own cover. And
Mm-hmm.
I am going to design it very quickly. So here, if I go to all of the artboards, I'm going to just create a new one. And I'm
And I think
going
you
to up
duplicated the same size or you
correct.
created a new one with
Yes.
the same size. Perfect.
Hmm. Then I have this picture of me with a graffiti in the background. And I made sure to upload a font before. Just going to double click. I should have. Okay, so I'll say get, and I cannot type inspired in
It's only when
NYC.
people are watching you.
I
That's when it's hard to
don't
type.
know, right? So I have this font that I have uploaded because I bought it. It's called Evidence Regular. It is gorgeous. It's the vibe that I wanted to have. And I'll just do this here.
That is a classic Izzy font right there.
Oh, yes. I love my fonts. There you go.
You
Just
definitely
making it.
love like a thick, like a bolded, kind of
Mhm.
wide set.
But that has a little bit of whimsical in it too. Like,
Yes.
that E, it's like that has movement and it's fun. So get inspired in NYC, and then I'll add another text box here with Izzy. And then I'm going just with a regular Adobe fonts, which is Elsa Text, which if you have been watching my streams for a while, it's my go-to for everything. It's part of my brand kit. And then I'm just going to position this underneath here. So here I have to think about a bit of strategy, right? So depending if I'm planning to keep that rail on the grid or if I'm planning to just have it on the real grid. If it is a real grid, I think that this is okay because we have the text at the top. But if it was going on the main grid, I would have to bring everything down in the middle
Yep.
like so. And I would need to adjust my photo. Just going to, oops, do this
The
here.
reason for that being that Instagram will crop that for your feed as a square,
Mhm.
as a little preview. So you're just
Exactly.
making sure everything's lined up and visible.
See, if I were to have it integrate, this photo would not work. I would need to change the photo. But it's just to give
Mhm.
you the idea. I am planning just to keep it on the main real grid. So I'm just going to go back and do this like so. And then I would upload everything and post it on Instagram. So
Beautiful.
here it is. Here's the cover, and here is the reel.
I think it is so cool that you have a photo that is specific for your thumbnail. It hints at what the real, what the vibe is, what the story is, but
Back
it
to
doesn't
it.
give it away fully. And I'm going to praise you before I battle you. Um, it's so important to lean into the form of content creation that feels like the path of lesser resistance, right? So again, we're not asking you to create a blockbuster film and spend endless hours on a piece of content, right? Instead, it's kind of like, how can you first set an intention? Two, gather the content over a certain period of time, and especially in this format where you've got a lot of individual clips. And three, use a platform like Express to make content creation simple and easy for yourself. Success.
Success.
Okay. So,
All
shall we
right.
pass the baton?
Yes, your turn. Phil, I can't wait
My
to see
turn.
what you have for us.
Oh boy. Well, actually, I'm coming in with a different angle today. I love what you did because it's totally different than what I'm about to do. So we'll share my
Mm.
screen here. I'll hop over to my Express and I'll get started on my project. I did set an intention today to keep content creation simple for myself. So what I literally did, Izzy, was film a video on my phone about an hour before our live today. So what I've done, yeah, nothing like leaving it to the last minute, huh?
Hey, that's
Um,
the creative's way of doing things.
exactly. I'm going to import this a little differently than you did just to show everyone how you can do this. So I clicked start from your content from the home page of Express, shot this on my iPhone. So this is going to be an Instagram reel. Know that it can double as, so we'll click that option and I'll just wait a second for this to load. The clip that I shot is 40 seconds long. Izzy, there's a great tip in this template that we are sharing with everyone today that says keep it between 15 to 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds. There are even instances where a reel could be shorter. In fact, while I wait for this to upload, we don't, by the way, have to wait for it to upload. See, it's already 25% of the way there, but it is a longer clip. I want to show you some examples. So, content creation tip number one before you start, have a really solid reference of what you can create. So I've gone ahead and gathered, let me pump in here a little bit more. I've gone ahead and gathered here a few examples of easy content creation. I'm not going to sit here and go, gosh, there's so many things I could create. Where do I begin? I hop over
Mm.
to the explore page on Instagram. I train my algorithm to show me more inspiring content. So I look at content from business creators, I look at content from design creators, and I look at content from interior design. That's like a passion of mine. I love like a good interior. Can't you tell from a little home set, Izzy? Can't you tell? I'm about to
Oh, I
change
can
it
tell.
completely, by the way. I'm about to
Really?
completely change this. Yeah, I'm not even going to tell you a little secret. It's just next time you're going to see me, it's going to be brand new. You just wait.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
So look at this. Look at this example. This is literally what we would call an example of faceless content. So it's a woman or a man, I don't know, walking. Okay, walking, and 4 seconds, text on screen, done. The idea is in 2024 and beyond, we
Mm-hmm.
keep them on screen watching, ideally cycling through your piece of content a few times. Instagram interprets that as, wow, someone has stopped and watched this multiple times. There's a good chance that might resonate with other people who are following this creator, or better yet, people who are not yet following them. So, tip number one, I mean, you guys know I branding and social media, this is my world. So I got a ton of tips for you. But I myself get hung up on content creation. So I'm like preaching to you, but I'm also preaching to me. Make this simple for yourself. Put a little bit of text on the screen. You don't need to put your face, literally a clip of you walking. Go into detail in the caption. Think of a caption this year and beyond as a mini blog post. We used to have to fuss with hashtags. We need 30 hashtags, and we need 5. Like, it's been all different strategy. And honestly, Instagram and algorithms are so savvy now that it can detect. I'm going to put a different example on screen. It can detect what your piece of content is about. You don't necessarily need to hashtag it for Instagram to know what it is. We've seen the power of AI in the last year and a half. Instagram knows what your content is about. Okay. Here's another example, another faceless example. So this is a photo shoot or something happening, and this person introduces themselves. This is business content. Again, more detailed in the caption. Probably don't need to go that long, but this is the kind of thing that someone's going to watch multiple times. We've already watched it a few times. Here's another one. This girl is reading a book for 10 seconds. And very simply, let me punch in a bit closer, very simply adds text that you could easily animate in Adobe Express. Again, go into detail in the caption. It's going to keep people on your post longer. I want to give Lauren, my dear friend Lauren, a shout out. She has grown her Instagram and her TikTok presence in a huge way by creating content that normally takes her no longer than 5 minutes. In fact, she stays so busy that she sets a limit for herself, 5 minutes or less, or it doesn't happen. And so her thing is putting text on the screen again, so you're likely to have to watch it more than once through. And a few things, she posts content that she enjoys creating about books, and she's tapped into an audience that is very engaged. Book Talk, it's probably the most engaged like subgroup culture online that I've ever seen and experienced. Absolutely incredible. One more example, friends. If you pull an Izzy and plan your content ahead of time, all you need are 2 clips of you jumping in the air. I could do this one here in my home studio. When I go to San Francisco next week, I could jump again and film at roughly the same distance, crop in and out to get it lined, which you can always do in Express. So the whole theme of what I'm showing you today, easy content creation for creatives. In this case, this is interior design, but friends, if you're in branding or graphic design, look at how they're having you kind of vote or showing an array of combos. In this case, textures, but it could be patterns, it could be icons, it could be all different kinds of comparisons. You could have people vote on an Instagram post now in the caption on a feed post. Okay, last one that I'm going to show you, literally a person walking. And this is going to be my inspiration today. They've added a tint on it so that you can read it. That's a good call. And then you're less limited, right, on what you shoot. I'm going to hop over to my own Instagram profile. And the next tip I'm going to give you is going to inspire our content today. Rather than sitting here going, what should I create? You'll be sitting here for hours because the possibilities are endless. Go to your Instagram, click View Insights. You can do this from desktop or mobile. I'll do it from desktop for this demo. We're going to click 90 days at the top, and we're going to go down and look at this. Top content based on reach, as well as top content based on engagement. The merits or the benefit of you being active on Instagram for those 90 days is that we can look and see what's performing well. I'm intrigued by this post and think it did actually very, very well. Well, there's that one I did on stage, but there's another one that I want to show you. Let's click See All. This might have been past the 90 days, but there's one that I created about ChatGPT and coming up with words to avoid on ChatGPT. So essentially the idea here is, look and see what's already been performing for you for the last few weeks, okay? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Look at the content you're already creating and be inspired to recreate it in a new way. A feed post could easily be a reel. Okay, I made a feed post about words to avoid, words to tell ChatGPT not to say, right? I'm creating a lot of content these days on AI. Izzy, I love when you come to me and you're like, Phil, I have a question about AI. I'm like, Izzy, I have an answer, because that's what I'm doing all day, every day, it feels like. We're going to come back to our reel, which had some trouble uploading. I probably left the window, but good thing I have a backup. Let me play this. Again, you're not going to hear the audio because I'm not sharing audio. You guys, it's literally a clip of me on my computer that I took in 30 seconds interacting with ChatGPT. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Very simple. So I'm going to pause that, click down here on the audio. Just going to do this for myself. And I'm going to, actually, in this case, I'm going to delete it. We're going to work with just this clip. And it's 40 seconds, which is too long. Izzy, I'm going to use your tip in our template today, friends. Make sure you get that template, by the way, in the description. I'm going to use, how long should we do? 15 seconds? How long was your reel?
Oh, is there a way that we can see it? Oh, it's sorry, 21 second. There you go.
21 seconds. Okay, that's a good
Mhm.
reference. So I'm going to follow the advice and I'm going to limit this to, I think that's cool. So it's starting, let me punch in a little bit closer so you can see this. The reel starts with ChatGPT populating. So people are going to be like, what is it saying? Okay, so that's the idea. I'm going to limit it. Actually, I'm going to go 7 seconds and just double check that that feels right to me. Zoom out for a moment so everyone can see it. I know that's a lot of white space. Let's go in one more. There we go.
Hey Phil, can
And
I
that's,
sorry, mention to our viewers right now that we will have a vote at the end with our that's where
yes.
we will be battling.
Yes. Thank you for reminding us about the importance of the battle, Izzy. You want that as a vote, right? You want that as a vote. Which
As a
reel did you like
poll.
the best? As a poll.
Correct. Yeah. Is your Phil. So Cody, if you can set that up for the last 5 minutes of our stream, that would be awesome.
It would be awesome. Let me talk through what I thank you for that reminder, Izzy. Let me talk through what I'm doing on screen right now. Some of the simplest features in Express are the most underrated. And one of my very favorite things to do is add a shape in Express to my design. And so here under elements, we have design assets, backgrounds, shapes, as well as icons. And brand new, friends, brand new is charts. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have charts in Express. That's literally hot off the presses, I think, as of today, maybe yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Very exciting. So, shapes. Pop in a shape here. I'm going to drag it to extend the whole canvas. I'm not going to send it to the background. I'm going to keep it on top. But once I get that in place over top of my design, I'm going to adjust the opacity. Why don't we do a 45%? I may adjust this in a little bit. But again, we can isolate our layers over here on the right-hand side. This is going to make it easier to read the text that I'm going to add over top. And so I'll make sure that I grab my brand font. So here I'll just toggle between all my different libraries. I got a lot of clients set up in Express. I own a branding agency in addition to popping up all the time for Adobe and all different places. I call that my fun job. My adult job is I own a branding agency. And so I love to set up my clients in Express so that they can stay on brand, right? We work. Megan, shout out to Megan, who's I think watching today. We're just in the final
Yes.
stages of finishing her beautiful personal brand, which I hope and I know and I will use as a demo for one of these shows because it is so freaking amazing. So here we might add some text. Also, Izzy, you've brought in some of your projects to our shows, and I think it just adds so much to it, right? These are like real projects that we actually
Mm-hmm.
do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, why reinvent the wheel when we have a real project and problem in front of us that we can solve with Adobe Express, which is so fun because it's a way of showing all of you that how we can use it in a real way with our clients.
100%. 100%. So I'm adding in some text on screen that is in my brand font, which is Gil Sans Nova. And I'm just going to pop this somewhere on screen. Again, I might change a few spots for it, but I really don't want to overthink it. When we think about some of those examples we showed earlier, these are people that are creating content without overthinking it. It is far more important for you to show up once a day, once every other day with half good content than it is to show up once a month
Mhm.
with the perfect blockbuster. This is 2024. And my friends, Consistency is rewarded. Showing up frequently will help you build a community. Creating and launching a blockbuster once a month is not going to do much for you on Instagram. It's just the truth.
Oh my gosh, you're talking to my soul right now.
Am I? I'm trying to, Izzy. I'm
Yes,
trying
yes.
to. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm going to do something here that we haven't talked about yet that works for a simple, easy to create um, uh, reel. Okay, so what we could do here, I've got this text layer. I duplicated it quickly to create a separate layer, but I'm going to animate this in Express. Friends, if you've not checked over on the animation tab, we have some new effects here. My dear friend
Ooh.
Andy just announced this one in the Express Facebook group, the typewriter effect. I absolutely love this. Let's hop into here and actually adjust some of the settings so we can, I love it. And I like actually for it to be faster. Let's go 2 seconds. And if we want, we can define a text segment. So here it could be words. I prefer characters. It could also be lines. I'm going to keep it characters. That just, it keeps it exciting to watch, you know? And then
Mhm.
I might, for this one, read the caption. I'm going to adjust this so it shows toward the end. Remember that you can see these little dots on the timeline for these elements. So this tells me, looking down here on the bottom right, read the caption. Let's animate that one as well. I think I might either do the typewriter or I might do the typewriter just to keep it consistent.
I love the
So
animation features. I've done some reels with
me
it before,
too.
and it's the best.
And I might go leave that there. So let's just play back. Playback, playback. It's kind of cool. So it's actually a little long. Again, I don't want to create a huge or a super long post. I'd rather someone watch this multiple times,
Mhm.
read the caption. So don't feel pressure to have a full block of text on your reel. You can if you want, but I think it makes more sense to grab someone's attention quickly, possibly even quicker than that. I may even make the animation even faster. The joy of Express is that you can, yeah, this is better. That feels better to me. The joy of Express is that you can tweak this until you're happy with it. Let's just make that animation even faster, even faster, even faster. Okay, I'm going to play it back one more time. So again, this is a post that I posted on my, if you're wondering what this was based on, I posted a static image post with literally words in the screen. What I also set up, this is a little more advanced, but if you use any kind of automation features like ManyChat, rather than someone trying to copy down the words from the screen, which no one's going to take the time to do, in the caption, Izzy, I would say, I've set up an automation using ManyChat, and it would say, comment, avoid words, let's say, or I would just come up with a simple prompt.
Mm.
And anytime someone comments that on my post, I would send them a DM. Simple automation that you can set up using a template in a tool like ManyChat. And that way I get tons of comments on my reel rather than people just looking at it going, the words are embedded in an image. What am I going to do with those? That way I can send them as a DM or a reply as a comment, send them the words that then they can feed into ChatGPT. Very simple. So the whole point of this is that I try to avoid certain words since they're very repetitive.
Mhm.
Embark, embrace, leverage. I'm trying to think like there all these terms that
Yeah.
ChatGPT says
Mhm.
all the time, and
Unlocking.
unlock your potential,
Yeah.
unlock your
Yes.
creativity, unleash
Yes.
like these
Unleash.
terms.
Oh. Blech. Here, I
Yeah,
should I should play the
there's your.
animation again. There you
I
go.
was about to say, Izzy, get the animation for that sound effect, and we'll be all set. Um,
Exactly. Maybe I should add the words that ChatGPT uses and do an animation on top of my video of
okay,
that stop
that'll
motion.
be the next Collabattle. Yeah, that'll be
Okay,
the
I'm
next
down.
one. Megan asked a good question. Where is this template? We should have it linked in the description.
Mhm.
We also may be able to find the link and post it in the chat. If Cody Bear can help us out, that would be amazing. But we'll make sure it's in the description of this video so that you can access that even in the replay as well. The whole theme of today, friends, is lean into the form of content creation that feels easiest, because you will be rewarded on platforms like Instagram by showing up consistently, more so than by creating the perfect piece of content that might take you hours. The other piece of advice I would have for you is that um, you want to make this easy for yourself. You also want to keep trying different types of content. So try a reel, then try a static image. Obviously, today we're talking about reels. I still say best. This is the best, you know, way to get in front of new eyeballs. Vertical video is. So experiment with reels, experiment with carousels, which we've talked about on Collabattle before. Really just lean into what is it you're excited to talk about? What is it you're excited to share? Izzy, you gave a really good example of collecting clips on your trip, and see how that makes a perfect piece of content that you can share. Oh, an idea for that, by the way, is if you want to make that valuable for someone else who isn't your friend, then put in the caption, here are my top 5 favorite destinations in New York this summer. So simple.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. And you better believe that someone, and include some of the locations that you have visuals for so that it feels
Yes.
cohesive, but
Mm-hmm.
you just took 20 extra seconds to make a reel appeal or be valuable for a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where
No,
you're going to start to see saves and shares and cents, right? So makes sense.
yes, absolutely. I think too, like if I'm thinking out loud right now, in my bio, I think I have something saying like chasing creativity or something like that.
Mm.
Which this is definitely exactly what it is, right? As for what we talked earlier. And maybe I can change the title of my cover to mimic that, and making sure that my caption um, makes it more accessible to everyone in that way. So I'll take you up on this challenge, Phil, whenever I post it.
I love it. And by the way, you guys have been so efficient. As I was talking there a second ago, you shared the link with Cody Bear, who just posted it in the chat. Thank you, Cody Bear. Um, and so we've now got that remixable template. We'll make sure it's in the description of the video for the replay. On screen, friends, I'm showing you what I just did was download my video as a PNG or a JPEG as a static image. It's going to save that first frame. Like Izzy showed us earlier, we can quickly make a cover for our content by duplicating that project, getting it as an image. And I'm going to show you something that you can do in Express down here. It's a video, but if I want to convert it to a static image, I just click remove duration on that timeline. And
Mm.
now this is a static image. I can come back here and I like this text and I like this shape. I can copy and paste this on screen, make some adjustments. I think because I pasted it over from a video content, I'm going to get this to a square. And this is another little tip that I do. I usually draw a square. In this case, I'm leaving a border around it because I actually post stuff on Instagram that looks like this, like something like this. I might even pump up the size. I know we're just in our last few minutes here.
Yes, I
Pump
was
up the
thinking we have
size.
to do the poll too.
We have to do the poll. Let's do the poll. So, friends, just to show you, you could then download this as your thumbnail cover, use the guides, get it centered. That looks very close to the type of thing that I would post on
Mm-hmm.
Instagram as a thumbnail. So it looks nice. And I've got lots of variety on my feed. That is how we make a reel, and we make a thumbnail, a real cover, double whammy. And Express, you saw Izzy do it. You saw me do it. And now it's time to vote. We're going to see if we can get a poll in there before we wrap here in a few seconds. Vote. Who wins? Is it Izzy? Is it Phil? Is it Izzy? Is it Phil?
Is it easy as it Phil?
It's a
And
real battle today.
real battle time. Do you want to show your reel again, like when you play? Then maybe we can hop one more time to my screen
Sure.
to show the final product.
Yep. So mine was all about easy content creation using a new animation feature on the text. And in the caption, we go into more detail, like some of the examples we looked at today. Now we can switch over to Izzy's screen. While we do that, the poll is up on
Oh.
Adobe Live. I love this. We've already gotten a few votes. Oh my gosh, the results. It's a nail biter. I'm going to vote for Izzy's reel. I hope you win, Izzy.
I did work
So
on it
far,
a
you've
little
won
bit during.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree. You did win today in terms of visuals. In terms of visuals, you definitely won.
Well, thank you so much. But I do love though how all the tricks that you have shared though is so insightful, because again, it's like you were talking to my fear, because this did take a lot of time, right? I was over there
Yeah.
for 5 days and it was constant filming. And I was actually thinking about that, like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this all the time. But what you did is just like you basically solved the problem without even you knowing that I had this problem. So it's
Yes.
amazing.
I'm glad. Well, good. We've shown two different totally, two totally different styles of reels today. We got the vote. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Izzy definitely takes the award
Thank you.
today. But here's the good news. We'll be back again. We've got a few more shows of Collabattle
Yay.
in our schedule. So we'll be back next week, and we hope that you can join us and enjoy that remixable template. We're especially proud of this one, and
Yes.
we'll see you again next week. Congrats, Izzy. You won.
Thank you so much, Phil. But I mean, you always win in my heart.
Oh, that's all that matters, honey. That's all that matters. See you guys later and stay tuned. We got some other exciting stuff coming up.
Bye.